We got a big squad here for Rocco out of Renzo Gracie, New York City. I think they brought a whole squad, so I'm pretty excited for that. Okay, maybe we have two big squads. John Romero Jr. going by Jay. He's going to be in the blue corner out of Mark Ramos Academy. He's got, let's see, black shorts, inverted gear, white top, inverted gear.
I love watching these Renzo Gracie guys grapple. It's such a good gym, and they have such a distinct style. Very excited for this one.
Me too. The energy is exciting. We got Rocco 78% as the favor, and then Jay or John Romero as 22%.
And this match is at 165?
165.
They look a little big for 165.
They do look a little big.
I mean, that's my weight. I'm looking up, then I'm happy it's not me. So, you know.
I love it. I love it. I think we have two fairly new blue belts too. I know Jay just got his blue belt pretty recently, and then so did Rocco as a blue belt. So some collar ties. These guys are ready to wrestle. Oh, I love it. Very nice. Quick pick.
I thought we were going to see that cage for a second, but he took him down right before.
I know. I was excited, but they're back up. They're right on it.
Right to the cage.
Jay's got Rocco up against the cage here, but Rocco with a good underhook, and they'll circle out.
Yeah, nice little wrestling match so far.
Both these guys aren't going to slow down. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. I feel like 165 is like the perfect size to like be so scrappy. Oh, a lot of mixing it up from Jay. Collar ties, feints.
Do we know if they have any wrestling background though?
That is a good question. For Jay, I don't know, but let's see what Rocco wrote here. He actually started training jiu-jitsu just in March of 2021, and then got his blue belt in 2022. Only training at local tournaments. 8-0 competition record at blue belt though, so that's pretty impressive.
Back up against the cage.
I feel like in the grappling more now, people are getting good so quick.
I know. The time is just, it's so much less than it was previously. Oh, we got a hook in for Rocco. See if we can get a second hook in. And his arms are connected, which is going to be good. A little bit of a threat.
Usually I think the cage is in your favor, but I think when you're stuck on the cage, it's hard to get that second hook inside.
Absolutely. And there are definitely times when the cage can work against you. Like, I know in top mount, sometimes if the person walks up against the cage, you come right off the mount.
We got both hooks in now.
We have Rocco on the back here being coached by his brother Dominic, and then John being coached by his friend. I think his friend is Kevin. Hopefully I'm right about that.
Well, Rocco's got the back and looking to take round one. Arms working his way in.
Again, we're in the same spot as the previous fight, halfway there, and he's already on the back, so he has a lot of time to work. I would definitely be taking my time here.
We have a big hand fight battle going on right now.
Absolutely. Rocco doing a good job of keeping his head positioning, for sure. If I were John, I think I might consider even trying to walk towards the triangle side on the right to the cage and use that cage to, like, climb up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you two, does it benefit Rocco being pressed up against the cage like this, or does he want to almost sit up more so he's not being pinned down?
I would say it's not benefiting him to be up against the cage.
I agree.
I was on arena previously, and we train in the cage a lot, and being on someone's back but up against the cage is definitely hard. Because he really could push in the guy on the back.
That's what I'll be doing.
And I think that would be painful.
So what John wants to do is keep climbing and eventually spin over to full guard, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yep. Oh, he's under with that right arm, but he'll hand fight, and he goes right back under with that left arm, does Rocco.
See, he's kind of stuck on the back, though, because usually you have, like, armbar attempts and stuff, but being against the cage, you really can't spin out at all.
Right. You're only stuck with those submissions on the back. Right. He is doing a good job switching of his feet back and forth with those body triangles, though. I will say that.
Yeah, keeping the lock off the ground, keep switching it.
Absolutely.
There's only 1:25 left for this round.
Like, it goes so fast, doesn't it? It's crazy. He's been on the back for, I think, more than half of the match.
I feel like in this format, when you get to a certain point, cardio is so important, especially if you go a whole round or two without any submissions. That third and fourth is going to be brutal.
Absolutely. And really, so far, we haven't seen too many series go into a fourth round. I think it's been less than 5, so we'll see what happens. We're under the minute mark here, which means no submission. They're going to go to round 2 either way.
Got to wonder if Rocco's going to start chasing a little heavier here with only 45 seconds to go.
You can, but I think at this point might be trying to conserve himself for the later rounds.
That's what I would be doing, just like kind of, again, cooking him, making sure he's maybe a little bit of smother action, Andrew, make him a little bit tired.
So who's exerting more energy here in this round?
Rocco's actually doing a lot staying active on the back, so I would say he's still exerting some energy, but anytime you're defending the neck and, trying to get out of it, and he has a body triangle in, John's going to be doing a lot of work trying to breathe.
Yeah, that squeeze on the body triangle, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you only had a hand fight, it's right against the ribs and the lower abdomen, that's going to be pretty tiring.
10 seconds left here, looking like we're going to see a round 2 without a submission so far.
He's just grinding the jaw, too, with his hands. He's going back and forth, like hitting him right across the jaw, the nose.
We're going to see first time. I don't know how this is so loud.
Good round.
I don't know how to make it. They asked me to do a second one, just in case. Right. All right, heading into round 2. Again, this is the majority of 3 format. So 3 5-minute rounds. There was no submission in round 1. So if there's a submission in round 2, we still get to go to round 3 to see if the other guy can submit. So this is where it gets exciting.
And if you're Rocco, you almost have to be a little bit disappointed because you took a man's back for an entire round. That's a 10-9, 10-8 in an MMA or a jiu-jitsu match, and nothing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see if he gets to the back again.
We have Rocco again in the red corner. So Rocco is in the white top for inverted gear. Oh, high single. Beautiful. Very nice. Oh, but reversal. Very nice counter, and he'll land in half guard on top. Forgot to start.
There's luck.
This is going to be a good top position, chest to chest. Looking to take a lot of the breathing away.
Notice how he has his hand like right underneath him with his forearm in his neck, using shoulder pressure, staying heavy the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, and he'll take top mount. Very nice. Very nice. Dominating again in round 2. He looks very controlled. You have to wonder if on bottom that first round really wore him out.
I think it did. You can tell he's not moving as fast, not as explosive on the bottom. He's kind of just pinned there.
Not a good spot to be in right now. Full mount, full control, and 4 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing as before. Lots of time to work here. So even just kind of keeping all of his body weight on that head there is going to be very tiring.
I would like to see him kind of slide his knee up and go to a higher mount because he's just wrapping around his body. He can control that arm and get up to a high mount and has a lot of attacks from there.
Absolutely, because with those arms on the outside, you can only hold someone there for so long before your arm starts to get isolated and you're at risk for arm bars.
Yeah, Rocco's really just been in control of this entire match so far. But no submission yet.
Yep, still no submission.
It is no
about
points.
About a minute and a half in. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry too much. Just kind of have to worry about where your hands are at.
You can just kind of relax on the bottom. You're in the bottom mount, but it really doesn't mean anything unless you get a submission.
That is definitely one of the big benefits of submission only. Positions aren't as important. That being said, obviously, if you're in a good position, that means you're more likely to submit. But
for sure.
And use less energy, and there's a lot that goes into it. But it's really just been a stalemate because points don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at him grabbing his own leg here from the bottom.
Very flexible. Oh my goodness. Wondering if he'll attempt to throw it over in front of his belly. Even a possible attempt at a trap and roll look there. He got his hips moving a little bit. You have to be careful though, reaching that right arm down there, just in case he were to trap it on the top and go for some sort of triangle or something. Look at that kipper attempt.
Beautiful.
Close to coming out the bottom, but nope.
If he can get a leg over, he can go into a leg lock.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that leg comes to the front, he's doing a good job keeping his hips active on the bottom for sure.
And you notice Rocco went right to that grapevine with his feet underneath, so it's hard to get the legs inside now. He's kind of going like a grapevine position on top.
Yeah, for sure. He's doing a great job of controlling. I'd like to see him start looking for isolation or some type of submission.
Another big kip. He couldn't get it. He's been stuck here for 3 minutes now.
And that kipping takes a lot of energy. He keeps on moving back and forth, but it's a lot of energy.
I don't know. You compete a lot, Andrew. Do you feel like in top mount? Sometimes I feel like submissions are almost limited, and I'll opt to come off the mount and like play north south or like top side. What do you think?
I agree. I think against like a higher level guy, there's a lot of not a lot for mount to have. You keep your elbows tight. It's hard to finish someone. I prefer to go like out to side control and start to work for arm attacks, or go after the neck from side control instead of stay on mount.
So how many submissions does he? I mean, I'm sure the answer is dozens, but how many practical submissions does he really have from this position on top?
I think like realistic, like practical submissions 3 or 4. You know, you have like arm bar, arm triangle. I mean, you can go to like a triangle for mount, but that's not going to be easy.
Right. And they're so hard. They're so much harder to finish. So there's a lot, but they're like, the Americana is technically a submission from mount, but the percentage is so low. Everybody knows it. Everyone knows the defense. So
that being said, as they get tired though, the Americana could become more effective if you can pin your arm.
Absolutely.
But he gets into the leg now.
Single leg X, very nice.
Right
Possibly looking at an outside heel hook. Oh,
Right out.
Very nice scramble. Coming up on way less than a minute here. I'm gonna maybe see some wrestling again. It's my favorite. Do you have a favorite, Jake? Since you're watching, like, is there anything that you really get your gears grinding?
I really like fun like guard pulls from clinch, whether that's like triangle attacks, armbar attacks. You don't see it a lot in competition, but that's what gets me going. I also grew up wrestling, so any really good wrestling, I love it.
Yeah, I would agree. I like wrestling. I like Andrew's style here, to be completely honest. And then I like anything mean, anything aggressive. That's me. I like it.
I'm a huge fan like any flying submissions.
Yeah.
I like seeing people jump all over the place.
Oh, time. Nice stop. So we're going into round 3. No submissions.
So a submission is now I'm gonna win it for the guy.
Absolutely. Yep. All it takes is one submission for round 3, and that person will take the win. Otherwise, we're going to a round 4, and hopefully we won't be here forever for that.
So we have a 5-minute sudden death round here, essentially, followed by an unlimited sudden death.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. I remember when they came out with this format, and I was nervous, like, oh my God, we're going to be here so long. But every time that it's gone to a round 4, it's hardly been like longer than a minute sub. You have to these guys are tired now.
Well, see, now I think you can take more chances, too. Because, if you get one submission, it's over. So you can kind of go harder. You don't have to be worried about being tired after this. You can get everything you have now.
Absolutely. I agree. Balls to the wall. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but I'm doing it.
You said it.
Some good collar ties, looking for that inside control.
Now, how much does sweat play in when both of them are wearing rash guards?
That's a good question. So I can't speak to not wearing a rash guard, but very nice. But sweat definitely plays into positions. Especially leg locks. You could slip out of those based on like how sweaty your legs and your arms are.
Especially now you're 10 minutes in, and both guys are pretty sweaty.
Yeah, for sure. Possible look at the back here, but that cage could come into play. He's pretty close to the cage.
And it looks like another round where Rocco's going to take a dominant position and hold it.
Absolutely. He's got one hook in, both hooks in.
Hook now. Right to the body triangle again, too.
Very nice, like butter.
Yeah, and that locks up in the air, too.
And after you were stuck on the back for the first round for 3 or 4 minutes, it's kind of like now you're there again, and like I couldn't get out the first time. There's a big mental factor to that.
And they're not up against the cage this time.
True.
So there might be some more opportunities for different submissions. And weak side arm bars could come into play, all different things. He's got a nice one-on-one grip on that left side.
We've seen this before. The question is now, can Rocco finish? 3.5 minutes to go. Can he get to finish?
And can Jay stay, in the game? Like, is he getting more tired? Because now we're a couple rounds deeper in. That body triangle's weighing in a little bit more.
He's got them thick delts and lats, though. He doesn't have much of a neck to choke.
That is such a factor, though. When people have thick necks, it is so much harder to choke.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's why I mentioned the lanky limbs, because that really goes into play. But these are two pretty bulky guys. This isn't...
Oh, yeah. We got 2 compact 165 guys.
That's great. I wonder if either of them cut to 165.
Yeah, they look heavier than 165. I'm sure they're up there a little bit.
Look at more like just a wrestling position now. He's not going with his hooks. He's just kind of riding him out from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. He is doing a good job on the bottom of staying turtled and making sure that left hook doesn't go. But he's still going to have to bait some type of explosive to get out of this position. We're about halfway through the match. Very nice chair sit back to the back for Rocco.
Right to the body triangle again.
Body triangles, they're so good to utilize. It makes it that much harder and that much tighter here.
But now they're pinned against the cage again, so now his options are limited.
Yeah, for sure. This has been a good back and forth, pretty evenly matched, even though it's been in favor of Rocco. But Jay's done a great job of not getting submitted. So
His
technically,
defense,
his defense is great.
Is good.
When I tell you guys, you can start to hear the breathing now in round 3, right?
They're huffing and puffing, yep. Especially John, who's the one has his back taken. He is really breathing hard.
I give him credit for not tapping to a tight body triangle. So I'll tell you, if somebody had a body triangle on me for 3 rounds, the majority of 3 rounds, that'd be really hard to hold.
So if we see this 4th round in 2 minutes, what is the likelihood?
Oh, armbar possibly?
Yeah, he went for the armbar.
Is his left leg over? Nope, you're going to go back to the back here.
It was a good attempt. He just missed the head on the way over, so he was able to scoot back to the back.
Oh, very nice.
Definitely took more of a risk, though, with a minute left.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I feel like that's what we're here to do, right? Take risks, try to get the finish when you can.
He's a little high on the back right now. He's got to kind of scoot back.
Yeah, definitely. Could potentially get bucked off if there were to be, some movement there. But yeah, that's a good question. Like, what is the plan coming into round 4 for each of those competitors?
I was going to ask, even in competition, how rare is it to see someone tap from pure exhaustion?
That's a good point. I know I've talked about this with some of our students. Like, there gets to be a point where one of them, I feel like, will just, in their mind, they're quitting, and are we going to see that?
I agree, and sometimes you can't even tell because they'll give up a submission to just get submitted, but you really just quit because you were tired.
Because somebody who's starting out in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when I get tired, that's one of my biggest things in the match. It's like, how do I tap or how do I make it look like I got choked out so I don't,
So this doesn't look as bad. And we're coming up on less than a minute here, so... Again, like strategy-wise, if I'm Rocco, I might be considering just making him more tired than he already is and getting ready to go into that last round.
And for the people at home that don't train, 15 minutes of grappling is a long time.
It's a very
It might not sound like a long time, but 15 minutes is grueling. You're tired, you're sweating, your arms are dead, and you have lactic acid buildup. It's a long match.
1 5-minute round of grappling is a long time.
Right.
3 in a row is ridiculous, and then an unlimited round, I can't even fathom that.
And it takes a lot to hold a 165er's back, so you have to believe his arms are also probably quite tired, just staying in that position. We're going to come down to the last few moments here.
We're getting that 4th.
Time. Here we go.
Wow.
Sudden death.
This is our first match going to overtime so far.
This is exciting, and we're only match in number 2. Here we go. Here we go. We might have jinxed it.
This is why this is different though, because he could have killed him the first 3 rounds and now get tapped and he still loses.
They're confusing me because they said that was the red corner, but Rocco's in the fucking blue.
Yeah,
It didn't make no sense.
That would get me. I think that would get me. You've been on the back here for 45 minutes.
Right.
You're not able to submit him, and he's laughing. Like, that's the worst. That's got to be the worst. I don't know how I would feel about it.
He doesn't seem that tired either. I'm surprised. I'm serious.
He's given the corner the good old.
He's like he's walking on the beach. He's smiling, thumbs
He's
up.
walking on the beach.
He's happy.
So they've now been grappling for 45 minutes. There are some grappling classes that are 45 minutes long.
Absolutely. We've actually had people come into this gym and tell us that they can't sign up because if we train like an hour. If they train longer than 20 minutes, they can't do it. So they would definitely not be able to do this. That's crazy. It really is endurance format, and we are seeing the true example of that in this match. Just a reminder, we're only in match number 2, and there's 13 matches, so we are going to be here for some time. This is really the first time we've seen it, and especially so early on.
Down.
I don't know why he doesn't keep him belly down.
Right? Could make him so tired in that spot. Just drop the hips, sink him low, and keep him there.
I see people tap just like that back pressure with your spine starts to crack. The guy pushes hips down real hard. It's very uncomfortable.
Absolutely. You could hit a good smother from there, from belly down, too.
Just pick his head up. Just start to, anything.
I love the eye connection that John gives to his corner. Sweet nothings. I do love it. And he's still very actively protecting his neck. You can see his hands are up going side to side.
He's waiting for the opportunity to change the momentum. And, 45 minutes of grappling, I don't necessarily see an end in sight, so that opportunity might come soon.
Truly, anything could happen. Absolutely. I firmly believe at this point anything could happen.
I mean, even on the back squeezing there, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
It's not just the guy who has his back taken here. The top
For
guy,
sure.
Rocco there, is using almost just as much energy trying to squeeze these chokes.
If you know anything about training EBI rounds, which obviously I know you do, Andrew, you get tired just holding on to that position and trying to continually squeeze. Like, you have to think his arms probably feel like spaghetti noodles by now.
some of the crowd, the competitors later in the other matches are starting to chip in with some advice. I think everyone's getting ready for this one to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see a winner coming up here on over almost 50 minutes.
Yeah, we're
Do
almost
the math for us,
we're
Jake.
almost at 48 minutes right now.
48 minutes.
But we have a good mount here, heavy mount, shoulder pressure down. He has. I really still think he should walk that arm up.
Arm isolation every time. It feels like it should be there. Connect his right elbow, right knee, walk it up, and attack the left.
Especially when he starts to bump like that, he has to explode and lift up his arm for a second.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be there.
Absolutely. I think the matchmaker did a way too good of a job of matching them up. Personally, because they are super even keeled, and we have the matchmaker here telling us he didn't make the match. I don't know about this. They look good though. Personally, I'd like to see a rematch in maybe a point setting or something else.
Well, Rocco wins the point setting so far.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close if it's a points match.
Right.
Not being mean.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know, because maybe you have a different game plan if it's points involved, you know?
You know, that's so true. You can't really base what you see off submission only in points because you have such a different mindset.
I personally try and strategize a match off the rule set sometimes. I always
Same.
grapple the same, I go for the same submissions. But if it's sub only compared to points, I definitely have a different attitude going in.
Absolutely. You might stay a little bit tighter. If you have multiple matches in a tournament, you might be holding off a little bit on certain things. So that is very true.
This is the first point in the entire match that I've thought to myself, is there some stalling going on right now?
You know, that's a good point, and that's actually, I guess that would be up to the ref. I don't know the official stalling rules, but at any point the ref can actually stop the match and start one of them, and the person that they think is stalling, gets the least advantageous position. And that wouldn't be a bad idea, especially at this point in, they're so far in. He's been in mount for probably a good couple minutes now.
That's actually a good call. Knee on belly would be good here because all that weight on your stomach after this long would be terrible.
And that's going to be JM that we're hearing here coming in. Oh, sounds like the ref is going to be starting them in a new position. So they'll flip a coin.
I don't have a coin.
I would like this call, though.
Yeah, I think this was a smart decision on the ref's point.
As we look for a coin, looks like we got a
One or two behind the back.
Yo, these guys are
AJ, one or
gamers,
two
and you know
behind the
what?
back.
You see
Listen,
the
yeah.
respect that's going
Good,
on in
one
the
or two
cage here.
behind the
They're
back.
still
Have some
actually
stick,
patting
yeah.
each other on the back. So I love that.
Do you want top or bottom butterfly double unders with your opponent against?
So butterfly double unders on the cage is going to be the start.
Was this the rule for all the other arenas, too, with the stalling?
No, the last one was butterfly double unders in the middle of the cage, but this time it sounds like they're going to be utilizing the actual cage. So flat back against the cage. Butterflies for the person with the flat back against the cage, so that's going to be Rocco. And then John is going to be the one that's on the outer side. So I would say John has the benefit here.
So what do you think you're looking for right off the restart here?
Ooh, this is hard. I mean, if I'm Rocco, I'm getting myself off the cage as quick as possible. Utilize the butterfly and get moving. And top guy has the underhooks. So John's got double unders connected, and Rocco's got his back on the cage. And here he goes, utilizing getting the butterfly. I would not go into closed guard if I were Rocco. John's going to come up. I would keep him on the cage as long as possible, and they are staying on the cage. John's got Rocco up against the cage here.
I think at this point in the match, it's important not to accept positions, which is why don't close the guard, keep it open, get up to your feet, and work for something better.
Absolutely, and I think Rocco heard you because he did exactly that. He is up, he's got a high left arm underhook, and he's circled John back to the cage.
Got you, Rocco.
What's wild is neither of these guys that I know of have an MMA background, but they both look very comfortable on the cage.
Oh, look at that leg cut.
You saw that? That was very nice. But he'll look to take the bottom. Rocco has a nice knee shielded, or not knee shield, knee cut, where he could potentially pass the guard here. Very nice.
Nice little knee cut, yeah.
Very, very nice.
Arm.
And that arm there, John he has
he's
his
gotta
arms
step
out like
over.
crazy. It's time to go for it. I would not take the back. I would go for front headlocks or look for one of those arms.
It's weird, too, because he had, like, the arm hanging up there to spin for an armbar, and he didn't go for it to get back to the back.
Right. So right now we are currently 37 minutes into this match, which is, do the math for us.
37 plus 15 is 52.
There you go. He's our official math guy for the evening.
I'm the wrong guy for that.
Does he have a bite on this
Back
one?
on the back, possible bite with a rear naked, but I don't know. We see some adjusting here.
He's squeezing.
I don't know. That right arm's
This one
up.
looks
Keep
tight.
it. I would keep
Oh,
it.
he's close. He's
This
gotta
one
keep
looks
squeezing.
tight.
He is giving it his everything. Oh my gosh, he is out. We are back to mount for Rocco. Oh my gosh, and the crowd behind us is like, what in the world is going on?
I'm starting to feel it from back here.
This is a lot. Oh, so they're going to keep going, but I think we're going to actually look at a switch of rules here. So we'll come back to you guys with the rule switch. What's the rule change?
Oh,
So it sounds like they have about 5 minutes left, and then they'll go to a draw, and then they will have the option to do an overtime round after the card is over,
Okay.
just because for time constraint purposes, this is a very long match. So again, 5 minutes, I think, left on the match, and then there will be a draw, and then at that point, they will have the option to do an overtime round at the end after all of the matches have completed.
And we'll go unlimited. We just need to get all the fights in first, and then
Right.
afterwards we'll come back and we'll stay till next week if we have to get this fight closed.
I can't hear you, sorry. Can you repeat that? One more time, Joe. All right, so clock is on. They are back to their feet. It's slippery in there. I actually think I see John doing a little bit of slippage here. Rocco in on the front headlock. You think too, like, if I'm Rocco and I've been this dominant with less than 5 minutes left, I will do everything to submit this man.
I don't even know if he knows. Does he know it's over in 5 minutes?
I don't think they know it's over, but Rocco was so close to getting that neck crank a couple minutes ago. I think you just got to keep going for pressure moves to just try to inflict damage and pain.
Absolutely. It feels like John has an answer for absolutely everything.
John's tough.
Yeah, for
Tough
sure.
guy.
For sure. Rocco back in top mount here. John, creative with his arm, but he'll take his right arm back. It looked like he had it trapped for a moment there, but he's back inside.
All right, we're pulling it over. So 5 minute warning, and then it's gonna go to
5 minute warning, and then we're on quickest
this is going to
escape
EBI.
time, EBI. All right.
So they just doing one round of EBI then, I assume?
You know, we're throwing spaghetti at the wall right now, Andrew. I don't think we thought it was going to be almost an hour match. 1 round, quickest escape, EBI. So that's going to be interesting because we've already seen Rocco's really good at the back.
But now that they know there's a 5 minute warning, I wonder if the intensity is going to pick up here.
Yeah, absolutely. The countdown is on.
And
I'll
know
tell
what,
you.
too? We never seen John on the back. He might have something back there that we don't know about yet. You know?
That's a good point. That is a really good point, especially because we've primarily seen him in defensive
Yes.
positions. Imagine if he escapes faster and then he actually ends up coming out on
Right.
top.
Resetting.
And the ref's going to call for a reset on the cage because of him stalling, I think, probably in top mount.
And they're getting to the point where they're
You know,
exhausted. They're going to
that's,
stall.
That's interesting to me. He won the coin toss and he chose bottom.
John did.
He chose bottom.
Interesting. Definitely interesting. But Rocco backs away, so, and that's, that's kind of exactly maybe why he's thinking of it. His coach, again, calling him to stand up. Props to him for standing up. I know I said this already, but it takes a lot to stand up when you're tired.
They're going to need a mop after this one. They're definitely sliding around.
We're going to need to save the camera footage after this one.
Slip and
Yes.
slide time.
We will see you next time.
You know what? He has that front headlock. I really start to
Keep it,
attack
right?
the neck,
Keep
yeah.
the front headlock.
I'm a big guillotine fan, and I gotta tell you, if
Same.
he's shooting like that and he's giving me that front head, I'm
You're
going for the
taking
guillotine
it.
this late, yeah.
And you're cranking. You can crank that guillotine. I think it's easier to crank a guillotine than it is to crank a rear naked choke.
I agree.
Rocco will find himself back on the back again with a body triangle. And we have 3 minutes left in this match.
So now I'm asking myself, though, if you're on the back, are you just not squeezing and saving for the overtime, maybe? Because you don't want to wear out your arms even more.
I would think so because, I mean, you've already seen all of the looks you've given, and you've just squeezed probably about 10 minutes ago or less to full potential. I would not be utilizing squeezing. I would also say, though, I would feel so defeated if I end up losing a match where I was so dominant in. That would just, that would suck, right?
That would be very hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. For sure.
If I lost this,
Oh, an armbar attempt here, and he gets his arm back
to his knee.
Oh my gosh, and he'll slip off, and John will take the top. That was probably the closest submission attempt we've seen so
That was
far.
the closest submission attempt, but I got to tell you, that defense was actually pretty good.
That was very good defense. I mean, you don't really see somebody get out of a back triangle armbar very often.
That was
with
impressive.
a good defense.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Bald head.
It's the bald head. I'm here for it. The crimson chin bald head. I don't know what we're going with.
Stuck right out of it.
We are halfway through the 5 minutes. We're down to the last 2.
And that's going to be 60 minutes of grappling total.
And we still have the overtime to go through.
2 minutes
And
left
11 more
before
matches.
overtime.
Please do not remind us, Jake. Keep tuning in, though. The matches are going to be great. And what's also really good about this is it's not filmed live.
Oh, we got a Kimura.
Oh. Step over.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It's there. 143 to finish this Kimura.
Oh, he's just yanking it up.
Go for it.
come
Go
over the
for
back.
it. Keep it. Keep it. You can hear the audience getting excited here. Like, let's take the arm.
We got a minute 30 before overtime to finish.
Absolutely.
Everyone-
This is what balls to the wall.
Absolutely, and everyone in this gym is on their feet, fully focused.
You have to imagine John is very strong, though, because Rocco's having a hard time keeping his arms connected.
I mean, you just look at him. He's a big boy.
I can't believe it.
He's
I
out of the crucifix.
I can't believe it.
This is wild, and he will find himself on the top, John will. His defensive skills are insane.
He's an escape artist. It's
He is.
something special.
He has earned himself 3 nicknames tonight.
And you gotta wonder how that's gonna go into play when it's escape time.
Absolutely. Got coming down to the last 40 seconds here. You want to call it when it is time? It looks like we're heading to overtime again, but I'm not really surprised.
Our second overtime.
This was the overtime after the 50-minute something overtime. Hey, but they're still giving the full attack. We're looking at Rocco on the bottom, looking for a Kimura. John looking to take the bottom. They are wild. The energy is amazing.
15 seconds. They're gonna go for broke, maybe.
1 hour of grappling. That's crazy.
Full speed ahead, too, really. There wasn't much
They're still
slowdown.
moving, yeah.
We had, I think 2 stall stoppages, but those were hardly stalls.
Yeah, it was just to mix it up.
Now we're gonna have some overtime.
Here we go. Let's go to EBI. Very nice. Very nice. I don't know if we're doing. Is it just back, or is it back or spider web? That's it. Is it just back or is it back or spider web? Just the back. Just the back. Whew.
Yeah, spiderweb might
That's
have been a
different.
little bit of a cheat from here. You have no grip anymore. You probably would have pulled it right out. Yeah.
But also with the back, we've already seen he can hold the back for a while. Or submission. You notice how they didn't even say submission.
So he chose to attack first, okay?
This is the part where it gets a little bit janky.
Yeah, this is everything could change here.
John's on the back
For the first time.
for the first time. And he's got his right arm in, but Rocco doing a good job of hand fighting. John keeping the back. Good job keeping the hooks in, John. Oh, but very nice by Rocco. He is out.
That's an escape.
Very nice. What's the time?
14 seconds.
14 seconds escape time. 14 seconds. So he needs to get out quicker than 14 seconds.
And we've seen Rocco hold John down all night. This might be it.
I don't know, brothers. I feel like he's got some good back control. Right to the body triangle.
Right to the body triangle.
Countdown time here. I'm nervous.
John almost got his shoulders flat, and I thought for a second he had a chance, but he pulled him right in.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Rocco's back control. Oh my gosh, it's coming down to the wire. Oh, he was close. And we'll see a win by Rocco. Oh my god.
Rocco by ride time. What a match.
Woo!
What a match.
Things not to be expected.
I think AJ liked that one.
Oh my gosh. Should have been tag team. Pick somebody else in. Oh my god.
Been going for about an hour. How are you feeling, man?
Short interview, long match. So, hey, man, shout out to my opponent. He was tough as nails, man. He stopped all my attacks. Got to get back in the gym. Got to keep working on those finishes. But all in all, I'm happy with the match. I didn't quit. Not one bone in me. I didn't quit. So, really happy with the performance.
What are you guys doing at Henzo Gracie with that cardio? What's the secret?
Hey, we roll like that. These guys whoop my butt every day. You know, you always got to push yourself there. Every day is a challenge. But that's what makes you better.
You got the win. Congratulations. I know you're exhausted, ready to get out of here and go to bed. But did you like that unlimited time format? You actually changed the rules for us when you're going to be out here.
Yeah, you know, obviously I was looking for a finish. Shout out again to my opponent. He was very tough. But, you know, I do like the rule set. I think it really forces you to push, and it's all about your mindset.
What a debut. Congratulations, Rocco. Our longest match ever in arena grappling.